There's an Adam. Oh, it's 101.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Back to the Future. I'm your host, Ricky, a.k.a. Mr. eBay. And I'm joined by my co-host and partner in crime, Dr. Chad.
Someone called for a doctor?
How you doing, Chad?
I'm very excited for tonight.
I am too. We're also joined by the very energetic, excitable Dr. Tim.
Here we go, baby. Prepare to be underwhelmed.
How you doing, Timmy?
I'm all in, baby.
Today, we are honored to have on a special guest, and I'm going to give you a little introduction. This man is currently the host of two podcasts that you can find on Sports Card Nation and also Hobby Quick Hits, which recently has transitioned over to the Sports Card Nation podcast site. This person has a dog named Kane. He's a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers, which we all either love or hate, has lived the dream and owned his own card shop in his younger years, and is someone who accompanies me on my drive to work every Thursday morning. Today, we welcome into the podcast, John Newman.
Yeah.
John, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, guys. After that intro, I probably should leave now and quit while I'm ahead. Man, holy smokes. I don't think if I wrote that myself, I could have did any better, probably much worse. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And like I know, I spoke to you, off the air, so to speak, and love what you guys are doing. You have a lot of fun, and that's what this hobby really needs to be all about. You're bringing some, when it comes to podcasting, I like when I listen to stuff, including you guys, I like guys that you could tell they're enjoying what they're doing. And I think that comes through on your show tremendously.
Well, John, I've got to tell you before we introduce what we're going to be talking with you about a little more. The reason this all came about was Chad and I have a funny bit we do where we like to reach out to people that are unobtainable, like LeBron James, and say, hey, would you like to come on our show? And you were lumped into that category. Yeah. We did not think you were going to join us. So we are ecstatic to have you.
I'm a lot easier than LeBron James in more ways.
Or Gary Vee.
I wish I was in a category with him, and it definitely is not in basketball playing, but even financially. But all joking aside, again, it's real easy to come on a show where people who love the hobby as much as you do and are passionate. That's to me, it's a no-brainer, and I'll be here every week from now on. No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to start a yes chant.
We're going to four guys.
Fourth mic, yes! Kick my feet up, put my sunglasses on, take a little snoozer maybe. So, John, one of the shows that you do host is Quick Hits.
Yeah.
And what we thought would be a fun way to handle today's interview is to talk to you about the top 5 things you've learned in the year 2020. And you narrowed that down to a particular topic, correct?
Yeah, I mean, with selling, I mean, I've sold, and I know there's sort of a negative connotation to people who sell. But, most people who sell cards, whether it be in a store format, an online website, breakers, right? Most of that money goes right back into the hobby. And that's why, 2020, I think we all know here in this room, has been like arguably the best year in the hobby ever. And when when you think about that in a year of a worldwide pandemic, that's crazy. I was on Sports Card Nation in March when this pandemic first hit, and just using my 30 years of experience for the 2 cents that's worth, I told people, brace for impact. We might be in for some lean times, some sales going down. Might be a good opportunity, if you have that extra discretionary income to buy some stuff, because people might panic sell. And here we are in December, 9 months later, and I was wrong. I whiffed. And thankful, I'm thankful to be wrong. And again, I'm talking just on the hobby side. Obviously, people have lost their lives, and I'm sensitive to that. So when I talk about in positive terms, I'm strictly meaning cards in the hobby, not overall. And
absolutely.
So, so 9 months in, and we're still in the middle of it. We got some good vaccine news early on, but time's going to delve out what's going to happen. Arguably the best hobby year is from a selling perspective, probably my best non-store year. I had a store for 5 years from 92 to 97. And if you would have told me that then, I would have thought you were crazy. And here we are. That's actually what happened. And so, I always say on my shows, I don't care how long I've done this for. There are no experts in the hobby. If you hear someone say, I know, or I'm an expert, run the other way, because right there is a telltale sign that you're in trouble. And I understand, if you probably do anything for 30 years in comparison to doing it for 3, you should have a better grasp on whatever that might be. But I think if anything 2020's taught us is all bets are out the window in a year like this one.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you're going to talk about the top 5 things you've learned with selling, because I think that you hit the nail on the head with. I think we're probably seeing more sellers than we've ever seen in a year prior. I think it's brought more new sellers to market than ever before. So I think there's a lot to be learned. Mr. eBay, yours truly, is one of those that came out of the woodwork in 2020 and made a killing.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot of different things too. You got a lot of these online exclusives. The Topps Project 2020 this year took off like hot out the box, and that brought a lot. Honestly, that itself, not that it's about one thing, but that particular release brought out a lot of new people because it kind of merged the art world and the card world together. And so you got a lot of people. I don't know how many, a little bit, but even card people just saw an opportunity to buy those by the 20s and 40s and flip them on eBay, at least initially, and do very
for about
well.
A week or two.
Yeah. That settled down. But that, then everyone moves on to the next thing. And some people, if you want to call them, the connotation or the label put on those folks are called flippers. I don't like labels in the hobby. I try to avoid them at all costs, but some people don't like, that's the other thing I've noticed this year too, is we like to label people, and some of the older guys, don't like the new people coming in. And I'm one of those older guys. And to me, I'm the opposite. We need those new folks in the hobby. I'd like to live forever, but we know that's not going to happen, right?
Right.
I'm not going to freeze my head like Ted Williams and hope to come back. I thought about it, but we're unfortunately that's not how life goes, and so we need the younger hobbyists to come through. Whether they're flipped, that's their business. The last time I checked, this was America and the land of free enterprise, and I still believe in that. And I don't look at that as a negative thing like maybe some others do. They're transacting in the hobby, keeping this hobby going. Made 2020 what it's been as it's wrapping up here. And, it's strong. That's why when you hear people talk about a market crash or the bottom falling out, I'm not one of those guys. I think we might see a market correction. I think that might be a better term for it. We've seen, 2020, what we all saw what second year cards did, right? Just crazy prices. We saw LeBron James, first card in a Lakers uniform. He's in the league 18 years, right? And people are calling it,
card.
They're calling it Lakers rookie. Like I've done this a long time. I've never seen that where a person changes team. What happened to the Miami Heat rookie? That didn't have the same effect.
No,
right?
it didn't.
So it's crazy. And that's one of the things on my list, 2020 taught me is expect the unexpected. You think it's like the opening line to that show on MTV, The Real World, right? You think but you don't know, and that's really could define the hobby, because for all the time I've done this, it meant nothing. I was wrong on probably 60, maybe 70% of what I would have predicted.
Yeah, like for example, today I just bought a box of hoops for $300. Who would have expected hoops to be that price? But it's
crazy. Look at Score Football earlier this year. It's kind of come back to earth now, but that thing was $300-400, and that's traditionally. And we're talking football here. That's not in the same, stratosphere as basketball, as much as it pains me to say that, because I do love football. But I'm honest. The Score Football was $350 even at one point, and you're like, "Are you kidding me? Like that's insane. Like this is Score Football. Like that's the product you go to Walmart, and it's usually in the on that bottom rack in the clearance, right? The jumbo packs, and
which is still on the shelf.
Yeah, right next to the Topps gallery. And so and that one really told me what's like when that was doing that, I'm like, this is like Bizarro World. Like, wake me up when the stream's over. But it's settled down. I think we're we talk. I mentioned market correction. I think we're in a little bit of that now. Some of that second year Lucas and LeBrons have kind of settled back down a little bit. I think, it was kind of the perfect storm with some surplus income, with some of the bonuses, with the stimulus. And, I don't want to make it a political show by any means, but I think that was a factor, into people having extra money and kind of just buying stuff kind of no questions asked and driving some prices up. And I think now people are tightening their belts a little bit more, thinking about before they hit those buy it nows or make it offers. There's a little more thinking going into it as this, pandemic extends on.
Yeah, no, those are all really good points.
Type thing. We could expand on any of those things.
I got them. I pretty much know. Like for me, number 5 is don't always listen to others. And that includes me, because I was, like I just said, I was wrong on 60-70% of what I thought was going to happen. And that's someone, again, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here. That's someone who's done this a long time. And yet it'd be good baseball average 3 hits out of 10 at bats, right? But in this case, it's not a good percentage. And so when I say don't always listen to others, I'm not saying don't listen at all. I'm saying just don't take everything to the bank. Not everything's going to be gospel or come to fruition. It's good to get opinions, and that's why we listen to the content and all that, but don't just always think everyone is exactly right. Just kind of take in. Ultimately, you have to decide what you want to do. It's great to get an opinion, outside opinion, but at the end of the day, the decision has to be our own.
The three of us, just amongst ourselves talking cards, even the three of us together have all fallen victim to this, right? I mean, Ricky Tim has convinced you and I to buy into Luis Robert, and we have, and we bought a lot of it. I've told you guys about my love for Donovan Mitchell repeatedly, over and over and over. And Ricky, you do it to a little bit lesser extent, but that happens. And I think part of that is the hype and the enjoyment that we see other people are getting. And so we don't want to miss out on that, but we also want to enjoy part of that as well. So that could be a very difficult one, not to buy into that. But I think that's a great point.
If it makes you feel better, Chad, too, I have a lot of Luis Robert stuff too. And so
yes,
he's here's my deal. I don't want to make this, the prospecting show, but he's young. I mean, it's not very often players get compared to Mike Trout, and he has been by scouts. And he struggled the last, probably 4 to 5 weeks. He played well too. So there was flashes, there was glimpses. I'm still sold on him. In other words, I think he's going to be, maybe not exactly what some scouts, rated him as, but not too far off. I'm still I think you throw away. You got to remember, this is a pandemic year. There wasn't really a full spring training. The schedule was changing from one week to the next in baseball. I remember at one point the Cardinals didn't play or the Marlins didn't play for like 10 days. Games were getting canceled.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of a crazy year. If a rookie or a young player struggled this year, I'm going to give them sort of a free pass. And to me, Luis Robert early on looked like he was going to, run away with Rookie of the Year. And so I'm going to give him, like I said, I'm going to give him a mulligan, as they say. And I'm excited to see I'm not a White Sox fan, but I'm excited to watch, what the future holds for him. So I wouldn't panic if you have a bunch of stuff. And like I said, I have a lot of stuff too.
So Chad should just unload his Luis Robert National Treasures rookie patch auto immediately, right? Because that's what he's trying to do.
See here, that's the wrong. Like right now, I know we're trying to be. To me, like the reason I have a lot of his stuff is like now's not the right time to sell. Like I think the best is yet to come. Sell at the ceiling and buy on the dip, as they say.
After hearing that, I think Tim could jump right through the screen and give you a big smooch after hearing that. He is super excited.
We are social distancing, so that'll work out.
You're not bad for a Mets fan. So.
All right. What's the number 4 on your list?
Do the work. And it's great to listen to other people, and I'm into, if you want to say business, we're doing 2 podcasts where people do take some stock into what I say. But at the end of the day, there's, to me, nothing like I prospect when it comes to baseball. So I'll listen to 3 minor league podcasts that I'm fond of and find out about these guys and when they're in rookie ball, single A, what the scouts are saying, what's the holes in their game, what's the good points, and so I do that work, right? And so if I buy 100 count first Bowman lot of one of those guys, and they turn out to be something, and you have those cards, you take a little more satisfaction, like, hey, I kind of did the research, with the help of others, with those pods or reading things online, and I was in on him maybe a little earlier than others. I got him at a lesser price than you would have to pay now. And so you take a little pride into doing some of the legwork itself. We see all these analytics now in the card market where people are selling like it's, $29 a month, $50 a month. And I'm not a believer in those things, not because I'm cheap, I'm frugal, I guess, but it's a lot of that information is out there for free that you can, if you don't mind doing a little bit of it yourself, you can. And I don't know, anytime you do anything on your own, I think you take more pride in the end result, especially when it's a good one. So I say do the work.
Absolutely.
Now, in baseball, you mentioned listening to either minor league podcasts or prospecting podcasts. What piece of advice would you give for our listeners who collect primarily football or basketball and are trying to do a similar thing? Do you have any? No, seriously, Ricky. Like, do you have any
it's a good question.
I laugh because I laugh because Chad. We drive Chad nuts with all our baseball talk. Tim and I. And so
baseball. No, but Ricky's approach is, is to throw everything in a junk box. And I think you guys actually share some of that in common, except yours is a little bit more organized in terms of rookies and alphabet. So
yeah, I alphabetize. So when I open something and it's anything that's a rookie card, it's going to get into a soft sleeve, whether they're a highly touted rookie or not expected to do much. I put them in soft sleeves, and then I have monster boxes by sports, and I got those dividers, A, B, C, and so on. And so when I have those rookies in sleeves, I put them in that sports box in the appropriate last name letter. So if they're brown, they're going to be in the B's. And so, because, it's a lot easier to find those guys when they do pop, right? To just look through a handful of cards rather than look through a 5,000 count monster box for the 6 cards that may be in there of that. that.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Ricky?
No, I go by team. And I like this last name idea because the team doesn't really
here's
work.
The thing. They can change teams.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you don't know that, like in baseball, you got the Rule 5 draft. There's guys that are on different teams right now that were selected in the Rule 5 draft that people don't even know. I don't even know all of them. I know what the Mets did or who they lost, but I don't know every transaction that happened in that draft. And then we find out years later, right? 3-4 years from now, that guy comes out of nowhere. And you remember him, now he's on that team, but you didn't realize like he started, he's on the Cardinals, but he actually started in the Padres organization, and you don't even. So I have to do it by alphabetical order. It's just a little bit of probably OCD mixed in there, but it's just easier for me to go back and dig those cards out when the time comes.
No, that's awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get to the top 3 lessons learned by John Newman with Sports Card Nation. We'll be right back after this.
All right, we are back here at the World Poker Bros final table with Junkie Tim, Vegas Tommy, and Princess P battling it out for the championship. Let's get into the action. Junkie Tim, as we're joining in live, pushes all in with 50,000 chips. Vegas Tommy, roughly 105,000, quickly calls.
No guts, no glory.
Princess P next to act from the big blind, she calls. Everyone turns over the cards. Let's see what they have.
I'm gonna take all your chips, baby.
Junkie Tim shows pocket 9s. Vegas Tommy flips over pocket queens in a huge dominating lead over Junkie Tim. Princess P flips over ace king with big slick. Quite the mega hands here. The flop.
Queens beat princesses.
Here comes the flop. A 9, 3, 2.
No.
Junkie Tim spikes a set of 9s. Takes a commanding lead. The turn comes a king. Princess P has hit a pair. Is going to need a prayer on the river. And the river is a 10, and Princess P is eliminated from the tournament. Junkie Tim is now our chip leader at 125,000 chips. Vegas Tommy down to 55,000.
Vegas Tommy's going to need some help after that hit. We'll be right back after this. All right, everyone, welcome back to the show. You can email our show at packtothefuturepodcast@gmail.com or visit our website at packtothefuture.podbean.com. We're back with John Newman. John, we had just jumped into your first 2 quick hits, and we're about to get number 3 for selling in 2020.
Yeah, that's not a good one, but it's true. And so I'm an honest guy. It's expect some angst and expect some jealousy. I don't ask me why. I don't have the dichotomy why that is. But and I don't think it's new to 2020. I think what I've noticed in 2020 is it's just ramped up. Anytime you sort of advertise like, hey, I bought this for $20 and I sold it for $180, or I bought these boxes at $90 and I just flipped them for $300. Anytime you do that, you're going to be met with some comments that aren't going to be very flattering,
Right.
And what place does it come from? I think a lot of it might be jealousy. I think with what's going on this year, a lot of people are a little angst because of not having the freedoms they normally would have under normal circumstances. And again, some jealousy. I think some people, very few people in the hobby don't sell in some form or fashion. I'm not saying no one does, but I think some people don't do as well. Maybe it's a price issue with them. They're pricing their stuff too high and they're not doing very well. And then they see someone else selling some things and they're just like, hey, that's, internally, like, why does he get to sell his stuff and my stuff's not selling? It's kind of the sort of middle school-ish, if you will, or elementary school, but it's true. And if you're a seller and you get some of that, I think you just got to drive around it. Don't let it get to you. I mean, as long as you're doing everything above board and you're not ripping anyone off, and the buyer set the price, right? The market sets the price. So I don't think you have to apologize for it. Some of that comes from what we're seeing with retail wax, right? People kind of clearing the shelves out at Walmart and Target, and then they're taking photos and putting on their carts full of Mosaic football or basketball, and like that. Honestly, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me, and I know I'm probably in the minority there because it's for sale, right? I mean, I can go to Walmart and buy all the bags of sugar, right? No one's gonna, I know it's apples to oranges, but like it's for sale. I mean, the problem I have with retail stuff is the shady stuff going on where a distributor, calls his buddy, he just waits there. The rule with distributors, it has to hit the shelves. So he calls his buddy, puts it on his buddy gets there, he puts it on the shelf, his buddy takes it off the shelves and goes through the register and rings it up. Or, recently it came out that one of the store managers at Walmart was just buying it all as soon as the distributor came in. So that stuff, I obviously I'm not going to condone that stuff. But if I walk in, or you walk in, or any of us four walk in to a retail store and there's a display of whatever product you want to say, right? Hey, with good, I just chalk that up to good timing. Whether you want to, hey, I'm going to buy 3 blaster boxes of Mosaic, or I'm going to just take this whole thing, right? That's just to the winner goes the spoils, I like to say. And I told a story on the show. This happened, I think, about 3 months ago. I had went to Walmart, actually not even for cards, just something for the house. But obviously you go to Walmart, you're going to check the card out if you're a card guy. And here in the Syracuse area, I mean, it's been bone dry. Like I went in the card out completely expecting nothing, but you're there, you might as well check.
Right.
And so I went in the card out, and there was a lady there. And I could see from as I was walking closer to the aisle, I could see she had something under her arm. I didn't know what it was. I wasn't close enough yet. And then as I got closer, it was a display rack of optic basketball, which at the time was like red hot. And I was kind of standing near her, and I looked at the shelf just to see what else was left, and there really wasn't anything. And so she got that display rack out there, and she's real friendly lady, and she turns to me and she says, "Hey, I don't really know what this is, but I know it's I'm going to pay $20, and I'm going to get probably $60 each for these. But I'll be nice if you wanted a couple. You're more than welcome to have a couple before I check out." And I said, no, that's okay. And, she was actually wrong, because at the time they were going for about $100. So she was actually going to five times her money. She was thinking $60. And, but she knew nothing. She even said that. I give her that much. She said, I could have been Zion Williamson standing next to her. She might have known I was a basketball player, but that would probably be it. And that's, to me, that really is a perfect example of what 2020 is. Here's a lady that not in the cards, not in the hobby for all intents and purposes. It just, hey, I know cards are going nuts, and I'm going to turn around and resell this and make some money. And someone else, if that was them, they would, oh, that's terrible. She doesn't even care about cards, And I take the opposite, like, it's free enterprise, however she knew that or determined that. I mean, that's, that it is what it is, and I just was saying, man, why didn't you leave 20 minutes earlier, John?
And you know what, those, to your point, the blasters and the retail boxes that have been at Target and Walmart, they've been there for years. And years and years and years. And every one of us has been guilty of, in years past, of walking right past those things and saying, hey, you know what? I've got a local card shop right down the street where I can go buy a hobby box. Why am I going to buy this retail box? And have laughed at them. And now here we are in 2020, and it's jealousy. It's exactly what you mentioned. Now people can buy these boxes and flip them for money instantly. And so all of a sudden now we want them, and now they're desired in a hot product.
Yeah.
So
it's a great
I think
point,
you nailed
Chad.
it right on the head.
And jealousy is not resigned to just our sports card hobby. I think it's other genres and other things too. I mean, we notice it because we do this, right? But it happens in real life. Well, not that cards aren't real life, but it happens at jobs, right? It happens on athletic teams, right? This kid got to go to the All-Star game, and I should have went, right? It goes across, it transcends across whatever niche or part of life. We just notice it more in the hobby because we're dabble in it at least somewhat every day. And I don't know. I'm not a jealous guy. Maybe that comes from 30 years of being in it. I don't know why. I just maybe I'm just cut from a different cloth as far as you get there first, and to the victor goes the spoils. And I'll be out. Truth be told, I've come to the retail sections at Walmart and Target. I bought a display rack before. Other times I bought 3 boxes and left the rest for someone else. Or as the saying goes, leave some for the kids. So I don't get mad at that. What I'd like to see, and I'm going to actually do a hobby quick hits on this particular topic, but there's got to be some solutions on the retail level to wax. I mean, now you got, how many times you see pictures on social media? I walked in a couple weeks ago, another Walmart store. I walked in on a Friday, again, not so much for cards, but had to grab something for the house. And I noticed like 10 guys standing right near the card aisle, and they were all waiting for the distributor comes on Fridays, right? And I just looked, here I am doing podcasts, pretty popular and I just looked, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I'd love to get some boxes of cards to flip, to open, whatever I decide to, but I'm not going to stalk a guy. And now there's 10 guys standing there. Like, how does that even, I almost wanted just to watch. Like, how does this whole thing go down? So
somebody was getting punched for sure.
Yeah. Like, is this like the Royal Rumble? Like the last man standing gets the display by, and, but you see people post pictures of that. And so what I love to see, like one of my solutions to that is change up the schedule. The reason you got 10 guys waiting for that is because they know, like clockwork, this guy comes to this store on Friday. We'll change that up, be unpredictable. I know it's a little more legwork for the distributors and a little more thinking, but eliminate that. Like 1 week, have that guy show up on Thursday.
Or make them like lock it in the office for a number of days.
yeah, that, or I see, Target's done this is put signs out there. You only one.
Yep.
And I'm for that. As much as I'm the guy that has bought a display rack before, I'm also about fairness too. And so, if you want to limit the purchases, then that is what it is. Or what you said, I never even thought. I'm going to steal that. I'll give you credit when I do that show, Ricky. But
please do.
Maybe hold it back a day or two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know they don't like to do that because they want to sell it. I get that, but we'll change the days. You know what I mean? If you come Friday 1 week, come Thursday next. Throw those guys a little bit out of sync. It at least opens up. Hey, if I come in on Thursday and the Friday guy came on Thursday, maybe I get a chance to grab something instead of having to wrestle 10 guys, right? As much fun as that might be.
Right.
But, things like that. I think you're going to see some stuff. I think you're going to see what we're starting to see now, a lot of direct to consumer especially on Tops's part. I think you're going to see more of that. I think, I think the days of the 1999 blaster are slowly going to go away. I think we've already started to see that. These companies, they may not advertise it, but they know what's going on at the ground level, and so they see people buying. Panini sees people buying Prism blasters for $20 and then selling them for $300 or $400, and they're probably saying, hey, if we just hold some of that back, and then they do that now, kind of when they offer at the Dutch auction stuff, right? Maybe they start doing that I think really you're going to see really, I don't want to say retail is going to go away, but it's going to be different. It's going to be different. How? I mean, I don't know exactly, but I think prices are going to go up. I think we're going to see $30 blasters rather than $19.99 or higher. You know, you might see Prism blasters if you even find them on the shelves at $40-$50 SRP. That's what you have to pay going through the register. And I think we're going to see, I think 2021 is going to be a lot of those changes on the retail level with wax products.
Right.
Yeah. Well, just real quick, before we go on to number 2, the signs that you mentioned at Target, it really explained something to me. So Tim came and picked me up to take me to work the other day. We both had our masks on, but in his back seat, I saw these really weird printed off pieces of paper that said only 1 box of cards per person, and there was tape next to it. Tim, you were taping up the damn signs at Walmart so you could have the rest of the boxes. It's all coming together for me now.
Listen, that's strategy. Listen, it may not be completely legal. All right. Hey, listen. You know what was, you know, what they say was some of the baseball players, right? The spitballers are the ones that if you're not cheating, you're not trying, right?
So in high school we called those SATs sneaky Asian tactics, and you just ratted me out, Chad.
I like that though, man. That's a little forward thinking. Like, I like that.
I do not do that, for the record.
You're gonna get hate. You're gonna get hate mail.
That's all right. I already do.
All right. What's your number 2, John?
Number 2, I think we've all really seen this, especially lately. And I remember when it wasn't like this, but the marketplace has turned into day trading. I mean, especially, I think all sports, but especially basketball, right?
Yep.
You know, Bobo has a scrimmage game. He scores 16 points, right?
And Chad buys every card on eBay.
And his stuff just overnight, just crazy, right? We just saw it this past week with Horton Tucker from you know, the Lakers.
Yep.
He has a decent game, and his stuff goes up 800%. I'm not even talking a little bit.
No, it was like $1 to 75 for his Prisms.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane, and I've never, you know, this year really emphasized that. But you know, I know it wasn't just this year, but it really escalated this year. And I remember many years ago where a guy would have a good game like that in the regular season, mind you, like during a real game, and us in the high would say, okay, did it one day, show it to me the next game. Mm-hmm. And then they have another good game, and you'd be like, all right, you get lucky twice. But if he does it the third game, if he does it again, then I'm going to believe, right? And now we just believe, not me per se, but just hobby terms. People just believe, like, in a scrimmage game one time, and that's it, right? And we saw Bobo, right? He did that in the first game after that scrimmage game. He played like 4 minutes. I don't believe he scored. And we saw what the rest of the year was like. And as a seller, I'm not going to lie, I love that. I love that as a seller, because you can sell that particular player's cards at a level you couldn't before. Now, with some of these selling platforms, they got those, 30-day, at one point eBay was like 180 days. You can cancel the transaction, which to me, it isn't that anymore, but that's insane.
Yeah.
Like 6 months, and like to me, you buy a card, you get the card, you look it over, and that should be it. If it's not in the condition that it was advertised in, or there's an issue, or the package gets damaged in transit, then you file a claim. But 6 months, like 30 days is plenty. Like if you don't file a claim in 30 days, that's your card. And it's what people did with that 6 month thing is just
grade and crack it.
Buy a player, a young player that had a great game, and like Bo's case, and then it didn't translate long term. Oh, I don't want the card no more. Take it back. And that's not, whatever. That's not fair to a seller. No. Like he didn't do anything. He or she didn't do anything wrong, right? They delivered the product. The buyer set the price at an auction. And just now the player didn't pan out, and now the seller gets left holding the bag. And some of those policies have gotten better, but that's a big stickler for me is those long-term return policies. You can't do that in the marketplace we're in anymore.
Well, even 30 days is too long.
30 days, you're right.
Just with the reactions, it's awful. Right.
You're right. And what they'll say is, well, someone could be on vacation. They don't get their mail right away. They're gone a couple of weeks. So that's, there's always going to be a built-in sort of caveat why it's 30 days. But 30 days is plenty. I agree with you. It's actually more than enough. But, think about 6 months. That's half a year. Like there's no season, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, hockey, that goes longer than 6 months.
And I was just,
just leaves that door wide open for someone to buy something, hoping to make out. And when it doesn't pan out, they can just give it right back to the seller and say, give me my money back. And that isn't right.
I was thinking you could almost, if PSA's backlog drops at all, you could, in theory, buy that card, send it off. If it's not the perfect gem mint 10 you think, crack it up and return it.
And you want to know something? It's happened. I'm sure it's happened.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's happened.
Oh, that's scary.
It's crazy. And that's the thing. People will do that. I mean, and that's the era we're in the hobby. And that's the thing. So many things change so quick. I always say years ago, you could go in a coma for 2 years, come back to the hobby and not miss a beat. You can't do that anymore. You'd be lost. You have to relearn almost everything you know.
All right. What is your number one, John?
Sort of cliche, but I think 2020 definitely taught us this. Expect the unexpected, right? You think you know, and you don't know. I thought I knew in March that this was going to be a bad hobby year with a pandemic, a worldwide pandemic. This isn't just in the States. This is across the world. And I thought economy-wise, we're going to be in trouble. And not that we're not in trouble, but I expected people really, paying your mortgage and putting food on the table was going to really, make cards sort of an unnecessity. And I just invented a new word, I believe, but unnecessary.
I do that all the time. That's fine.
And so it's not going to be in Webster's dictionary, but it will be on your show. But, I thought cards were going to take a back seat to what was going on in real time. And as we all know today, here in December of 2020, that prediction that I made and many others too. I'm not the only one. I like to give equal credit. A lot of people swung and missed at that fastball too, besides me. And it's good. I mean, it's a good thing. That was a thing where you hope to be wrong. I kind of thought that was going to be it. I was going to be honest about it. But here we are 9 months later, and we were wrong. And all my years of experience, it doesn't matter. I was still wrong. So, expect the unexpected. Anyone that tells you they know, or, I love when I listen to another show and the host will say, in the 9 months I've been in the hobby, here's what I know, guaranteed. And I'm like, holy smokes. Like, I've done this 30 years. I can't say that. Like 9 months, you're like Doogie Howser. You're Doogie Howser of the hobby, this guy. Like, holy smokes. I expect him to see, like, at the end, just putting in his notes in his old time computer, but yeah, you don't know. And I don't care whether you're in it 9 months or like me, 30 something, it doesn't matter. I think we've just seen so many crazy things. And so it's great to listen to content. I listen to content, and it's for entertainment. If you get, some info on top of that, but, I don't want to say take everything with a grain of salt, like everything everyone's saying is wrong, because I don't. I guess it's the difference between someone saying I know and I think. So in March, I said, I think this is what's going to happen. I was wrong in my thinking, but I would not, if you listen to any of my content, at least I hope not. And if I do it, it's an honest subconscious mistake. I never say I know unless it's an actual fact. Like I know I bought this last month for $10. I can say that, because there's no debating that. But if it's a speculation or opinion, I always make sure to say I think, because to me, I don't know. I always get turned off when someone says I know, and it's just an opinion. I say I think. Maybe I'm splitting hairs there a little bit, and it might be just a pet peeve of mine. But I think I've heard people besides me say like that really bothers them. So
no, that's all. That's a great point. Well, John, this has been awesome. Can we keep you around for one more segment?
Yeah, I'm down. Everyone's sleeping at my house, so I'm good for the rest of the week. I don't know how long you want your show to be, but I got another 4 hours in me.
Well, Chad and I typically handle the first hour with Tim, and then Tim runs solo thereafter. So
you just leave me hanging with the mic.
Oh. Okay, when we come back, we're going to get into 10 questions with John Newman from Sports Card Nation. We'll be right back after this.
And we're back here still at the final table of the World Poker Bros. I'm joined here by Dick. Dick, we have Vegas Tommy, Junkie Tim, battling it out head to head. Who do you see taking the edge here?
Well, I think that Vegas Tommy's really been beaten down, but I think he's going to have a rocky moment.
All right, let's get back into it. Vegas Tommy now in the small blind holding King Queen. Oh, and Junkie Tim with Ace Jack. This could be big. Vegas Tommy raises to 20,000 chips.
Time to make all your chips disappear, sucker.
Junkie Tim re-raises all in. Tommy calls. Oh boy, we are head to head and we have an all in.
Doesn't matter what you have. My pair of balls beats anything you have.
Dick, let's go to the flop. The flop is Ace, Queen, 7. Vegas Tommy has middle pair. Currently, Dick, we're looking about 4-1 odds to win this. The turn comes the jack. Junkie Tim hits his jack. And the river is a 10, and Vegas Tommy has taken back the chip lead. 110,000 chips to Junkie Tim 70,000, taking a big lead on that hand.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the show. We are here with John Newman, host of Sports Card Nation and Hobby Quick Hits podcasts. You can find or contact him at sportscardnationpc@gmail.com. John, we're going to put you through the ringer here with 10 questions.
All right, I'm really shy, so I hope I do all right.
You're gonna be fine.
I believe in you.
Yes.
That makes one of us.
Good luck, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Oh, that's good. Well, John, are you ready?
I'm ready as I'm ever going to be.
All right. Question number 1. A deep dive into your Instagram account has shown that you are a coffee enthusiast. So what type of espresso bean or grind would you recommend for a beginner espresso drinker like myself?
You got to go real Italian, and so I would say Lavazza. I also use, this is what I wouldn't recommend, at least when you're starting out, is Death Wish coffee, which I use. That's the world's strongest coffee bean. It's number one. It's also expensive. They should give you some royalties for me plugging them on your show. It's like $20 for a 1 pound bag. I don't even buy it all the time, but if I know I got like a big time work week coming up where I need that little extra oomph, I'll grind those up and put them in the machine. But Lavazza is probably a great safe bet. Full body flavor, but not too over the top either.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. So keeping with the food theme. So in a Dave Portnoy one bite pizza review, on a scale of 0 to 10, what would you rate Chicago style deep dish pizza?
Oh man, I've had it, so I can speak from experience. I'm a New York City kid, so I'm gonna that'll always be number one in my heart. So I'm gonna give the Chicago. But I love pizza. There's no pizza I turned away. So we're gonna go a real hearty 8.
Oh, okay. That's surprising, but it's delicious. Yeah. You're right.
John, you have a dog named Kane.
I do.
Is he named after the Big Red Machine?
I love to say yes, but to be honest, no. And he's, I know. I'm sorry. I would have made for a better answer, but and here's the crazy thing: he's not really named after anything in particular. When we were thinking, his name was actually. This is a funny story. I'll kind of make up for him not being named after Kane the wrestler with this. We adopted him. He's a rescue puppy, and they already have names. He came from Texas. We're in New York. And they already have names, and then obviously you can keep it or change it. And
right.
So when we got him, his adopted name was Jeter. And I'm not making this up because we're on a sports card podcast. His name was Jeter, and I don't have anything personally against Derek Jeter, but I'm not a Yankee guy per se. And my sons, we're Mets fans, and so I remember my son, who's 20, he said. We're not keeping it as Jeter, are we, Dad? I'm like, no. And so then we start just throwing out names just at random, and I think I said Kane, not thinking of wrestler, just Kane. And my wife and my son are like, I kind of like that. And so his name was actually Tebow. Another funny story. His name was actually Tebow. My son's a huge Tim Tebow kid, and his name was Tebow for like 10 minutes. And then my son was like, no, let's go with Kane. I don't want to like name him after like a real person. It's a tough act to follow. So we went with Kane with no affiliation to anything in particular.
Well, that's a great story. And we are two of
I know it started off bad because it would have been funny. Yeah, it was, but no such luck.
Well, you endeared yourself to two of the three of us, our rescue dog owners. The other one is strictly purebred.
Yeah, I had, but the dog I had before Kane was a purebred boxer, female named Mocha, and we lost her. About 5 months before we got Kane, and my wife said, let's go rescue this time, and you definitely wanted to get a different breed, just so you don't want to replace it's tough to get a dog after losing a dog, and she definitely didn't want to get a boxer after losing a boxer, and so
right. Well, question number 4. Up until recently, your podcast Hobby Quick Hits opened with Willy Wonka's Pure Imagination song. Also, on a recent episode, you likened to opening wax packs to that of looking for a golden ticket. Is there a conscious tie to opening cards to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory for you? Or is this strictly a subconscious affiliation?
No, I love the movie, the original especially, with Gene Wilder, and I knew that song, and I just said, man, that I can kind of take that part and make it work. And and as we all know, opening wax is such a crapshoot of what you're gonna actually get. It's like pulling a golden ticket, right?
Yeah.
And so, I guess there's a subconscious correlation there, but I love doing stuff like that. You guys do a great job along those same lines as well. So
thank you.
Well, when opening wax, what's been your best pack pulled card on your own?
Oh man, here's the crazy thing, Tim. For as much as I've opened in 30 plus years, some of my biggest cards were not pack pulled. So I'm trying to think.
Well, I mean, that speaks to how hard this hobby is, right? Like, there are a few of us are opening wax now.
Back in the day, I pulled a Beam Team Shack at a stadium club.
Oh, that's really cool.
Which is actually, I don't have it anymore, but like that card nowadays.
Right.
And, I'd love to say, I pulled a Jordan, basketball Fleer rookie. That's not the case. Probably some Trouts. I pulled some big Trouts. But nothing huge. I mean, I'm thinking of even the big cards that I have, unfortunately, I didn't get them, just pulling them myself, so kind of boring, but true,
Oh, that's okay. Have you ever pulled a 1 of 1? This is for Chad's sake.
Yeah, I pulled quite a bit, but
I was trying to say
you know what? Some of those, listen, we can have this debate. Some of those are, the printing plates. Some people don't consider them true 101. So, I pulled other non-printing plates. Nothing. Here's the thing. Nothing crazy. Probably my best 101, and it's a good one for me, being a Steeler fan. I pulled a Joe Green autographed 101 printing plate.
Oh,
Wow.
That's cool.
It's actually it's over there, but that one I don't PC a ton of stuff, but that one's in the PC.
That's
Nice.
awesome. John, in addition to loving cards, you love your hot tub.
I do.
You ever rip wax in the tub? Be honest.
No, I haven't. But I tell you what, I have done. I have the kids. Go away from the audio. No, I'm just kidding. I do a show. It's not a regular show, and it's only on YouTube. It's called Hobby Hot Tub. And this is a true story. You can look it up. I've interviewed people with me being in the hot tub.
That's
and
awesome.
them obviously not in the hot tub via StreamYard. And my tagline when I do that show is I'm in the hot tub, the guest is in the hot seat. And so,
I like it. I like that.
I've done 3 of them. I was gonna try to do it on a more regular basis, and then I got busy, and I bring it back. And some people will joke like, hey, can I be, if I can't be on Sports Card Nation, can I be on Hobby Hot Tub at least? Sort of like the minor leagues, right? It's like the single A, so yeah, that's a funny thing. That's a true story. So
That's awesome.
That was good, Ricky. Actually, my number 7, I had changed to ask when Hobby Hot Tub was coming back. So that was my number 7. Tim, we're gonna go to you for number 8.
Well, here's a bonus number 7. So you're saying, John, that if we were to come on the Hobby Hot Tub show, that Chad, Ricky, and I all have to be in the same hot tub in order to.
I think
sure.
it would get better ratings. I don't think it's mandatory. It would probably work better if we were all in the same hot tub for ratings.
Oh yeah. So you like to joke, obviously, and
Yes.
did you formerly moonlight as a writer for popsicle jokes?
I wish. I probably could. I definitely want to be hired for writing Hallmark cards. So. I'll take that if they want to call me up, and I like popsicles too, so I'd be a consumer of the product that I'd be working for.
John, you submit a lot of cards for grading, right?
Yes, correct.
You ever submit a card that came back as a 6?
Tim,
Let me.
No. I'm sorry. Let me say I'm sorry first, but never. Well, you know what? I take that. Let me think, because I've submitted vintage cards.
No. It has to be modern.
Ultra modern.
Ultra modern.
No, not. Probably 8 is my lowest grade. And I was mad at that. I'm on full disclosure. I was not happy with my
Tim will
8.
take any he can get these days.
But funny segue there. When I've submitted for grading for a while now, and when I first started doing it, I was terrible. I was just giving it the once over with just my the human eye, and I was getting a lot of 8s, and I'm like, what, and then I learned, and then I think we're also guilty, even now, not as much now from doing it so much. We sort of give ourselves a pass on our own cards, right? We see something and we're like, they won't say nothing, but they won't ding me for that, so to speak, pun intended, right? They'll let that go, and then you realize, like, no, they're not. So, I use these. I don't. Someone listen to the audio won't get this, but I use these things here.
We can't see you, John.
Oh, all right. Well, I use they're eyeglasses. But with a light on them and a magnifying lens that like flips down. I think it's used. I think it's mostly used in the jewelry,
like a
profession.
jeweler.
Yeah,
But I tell you what, it's done wonders for me on the card level, and it's made the difference. And so, not to I know we're having fun with this segment, but be critical of your own cards, because trust me, that grader is going to do it for you anyway. And so,
what would one search for to get one of those?
For our listeners, of course.
Yes.
They're actually like $10 or $12 on Amazon.
Yeah.
If you just go to Amazon and search, and Amazon, I think we need royalties for your show from Amazon.
I have one in my cart.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Let's see who else with popsicles. If you go if you go to Amazon and you search magnifying glasses, magnifying, like jewelers, glasses, magnifying, you'll get plenty of options.
Okay.
Yeah, they even have dimmable ones if you want, like multi.
Chad's going to ask you question number 10 when he's done writing down what to search for.
I'm going to buy Tim one of those for Christmas.
Well, like I said, I got 4 hours, so you can write as slow as you like.
I should send you the PSA 6, and you have me tell me.
All right. So, John, number 10, and the final question here on our top 10. What is your Holy Grail card that you have not obtained?
Oh, that's easy. That one's right in my wheelhouse. And it's one I kick myself, Chad, with, because I've had probably 2 or 3 legitimate opportunities to buy it in past years. And I just thought it was going to be there after that point. And so I neglected to purchase it when I had the opportunity. And now it's at a range where it's went up so much that unless I win like the Mega Millions, I'm probably not going to own it. And that's the 48 leaf Jackie Robinson. I'm a huge Jackie guy, and I mean that one's easy because I actually had just spoken about it. That's the Holy Grail for me, and that's the real kicker. Is I had probably a good 3, 4, maybe even 5 opportunities at different points through the years to buy it. And I said, for whatever reason, I was thinking about something else, or I didn't want to spend the money at the time, even though I had it. I'm like, I'll wait, I'll get it, a couple months. And I just kept putting it off. And now I just put it off too long. And it's probably one of my biggest, honestly, hobby regrets. You can even put it in that category. So yeah, that one's easy. I had a listener in my show, actually, which was very cool. I posted it on my Instagram. He, I believe he's 9 years old, and he knows what that card meant to me, and he drew one.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
It's sitting on my desk right here in front of me, and he signed it on the back, and he said, "To John from Sports Card Nation 101." And it's those things that happen in the hobby that makes me, warms your heart. And I always say, with the podcast, and you guys too, if you reach even one person on that sort of level, and then it gets now, I don't do it for people to send me stuff. I don't want to sound like that, but when it has happened, and when it does, it really, it tells us the hobby we're in and the community we're in. And there's, we hear a lot of the bad stories sometimes, and that probably gets better ratings. It's like news, right? You watch the news and all the bad stuff they lead with, and then at the end, someone saves someone from drowning, but it's right at the end, right? Yeah. But there's a lot more good in this hobby than that bad, and I try to talk about it as much as I can. And I think, again, I'm not giving lip service. You guys will provide that with great entertainment and content, and I think it's important because there's so much positivity in the hobby, and sometimes certain people just want to hear all the bad stuff, and it's important. Like, I'll have to talk about it if there's trimming or something along those lines, but I like to accentuate the positive as much as possible, and stuff like that. I've sent stuff to people, and vice versa, and I know you guys do, and it's important, and I think that's what it's all about, just having fun. And money's nice. I sell cards too, as we talked about on this episode, but at the end of the day, it's not my full-time job. It used to be, but it's not now. And It's about having fun and enjoying it. If you're not, I always say this to people. I want new people to come in the hobby and have fun and enjoy it with us. And if you're not, if you're not having fun in the hobby, something's probably wrong, because there's so much to have fun with, and so many ways to collect, and so whatever, various sports. You like graded, you don't like graded, that's fine either way, and just many ways to hobby. And if you can't find one that you're fond of and enjoy, you're either doing something wrong, or maybe it's not for you. And I hate to say it like that. I don't want anyone to leave, but there's just so many ways to enjoy it. I don't think you have to leave.
Right. Great advice. John, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Death Wish Coffee. No, I'm just
No.
That probably just cost us another fine.
I'm getting that sponsorship one way or the other. I'm going to force them to do it. No, I just, you can find Sports Card Nation. Very simple. I won't even give out. If you Google Sports Card Nation podcast, all the different platforms will come up. I'll save time with that. And Hobby Quick Hits, the same thing. If you Google Hobby Quick Hits podcast, that will pop up just the same.
Well,
don't Google John Newman unless you really like a British singer.
Yeah, that's funny, because it's true. We've all probably Googled our own name just to see what comes up. And I remember, when I did it probably a year or two ago, and I really didn't know who he was. Like, I'm not a fan. And so I Googled John Newman, and that was really the first thing that and the Cardinal. There's a Cardinal John Newman. So I'm probably somewhere in between those, the British singer John Newman and the Cardinal John Newman. I'm somewhere like in the middle, like demographic wise. But yeah, it's funny.
Oh, that is fantastic.
And here's one other quick funny thing. So Dr. Beckett does a pod called Sports Card Insights, and I know him well. We've become friends, and if you look, like, whatever he puts for, like, whoever the guest, he puts the name, and then there's there's a picture below, and it's funny Tim said that, because if you look at at Sports Card Insights with Jim Beckett, any episodes I appear on, the British singer's picture is on the bottom. I don't even know if Dr. Beckett knows it or not. It's there.
We have our show photo for the week.
Yep.
I wish I was as thin as him. I'll take that much.
Well, thank you again for coming on with us, John.
Man, this was thank you guys, Chad, Ricky, Tim. This was a blast. It really was. I know sometimes we say that at the end of appearances, and it sounds good, but honest to goodness, I had a great time. It was fun. Thank you for asking me on.
Absolutely. Well, for Chad and Tim, I'm Ricky, the British singer, wishing all of you a one-of-one night.
Cheerio, everybody.
And we are back here again at the World Poker Bros. Still have Junkie Tim and Vegas Tommy going head to head. Let's jump right in. Junkie Tim picks up a big hand here with Ace King and will raise it up to 30,000. Vegas Tommy, 4-5, certainly will muck this, but nope, Vegas Tommy is going to call. Bit of an unprecedented poker move, but again, about the norm for what we've seen Vegas Tommy play here tonight. Let's go to the flop here, Dick. The flop comes Ace 2-3, and oh my gosh, Vegas Tommy has flopped the nuts with a straight. Junkie Tim is going to be in big trouble here with his top pair. Junkie Tim checks, going over to Tommy with a small bet of 20,000, surely trying to set a trap, induce a thought of a bluff. Sure enough, Junkie Tim check raises all in. The turn is a 10. The river is a blank. Sucks out to
Suck
win
on that. Suck out, baby.
championship World Poker Bros. Dick, let's get Vegas Tommy over here for an interview. Vegas Tommy, congratulations.
Vegas Tommy, you just won the World Poker Bros Championship. How does it feel?
I just won $1 million, baby. Sometimes you gotta go low to suck out, baby.
Thanks, Vegas Tommy. Now all we need from you is a valid PayPal account.
Nobody said anything about that.